So if you want to learn how to scalp real short term, I brought the person in. Kim, I'm going to make you a panelist and looking forward to hearing your voice. And then you just scroll your mouse underneath or above where you see a green share and you click that. And then we'll be able to see your screen. Let's see, maybe I didn't unmute you yet. Yeah, that's what, okay. Now you're unmuted. Hi, Kim.
Yeah. Hey, Dale, can you hear me?
Loud and clear, Kim. Welcome to F.A.C.E.
Hey, thank you.
It's great. It's great to have you. If you want to share your screen, there's a little green box there that says share, and then we could see your setup. It's coming up right now.
All right.
So great. Okay.
You're up. $0.
Yep. You're up. Everything's there.
Ready to roll? Well, Dale, it's been a while.
Yeah. Was the last time FX Street?
Yeah. And we've communicated, of course, on Twitter, but yeah, it's been a while. So thank you for inviting me again.
Well, you know, I respect what you do, and I've interviewed your guy. What's his name? Ken, I believe. Kevin, yeah. Yes, Kevin, and he does a great job covering Asia and Europe for you. So, Kim, you know, refresh my memory since it's been such a long time. How did you break into the field, and you know, what were you doing prior, and what led you to trading?
Sure. Well, I'm a California CPA. I don't practice though anymore, but I keep my license. And about 20 years ago, yikes, I'm dating myself, I started getting into trading. And of course, I started with stocks. I traded my own portfolio for a while. And then I rolled into options and of course then into commodities and then eventually into Forex. And I landed in Forex. And I really liked it. I had a lot of success initially, and then I went through a little bit of my own financial crisis in 2009 when we had the global financial crisis, and then came out from that and turned my trading around, completely became more of a day trader. And I'm actually a day trader, and that's kind of what I teach others that are interested in.
Okay, so it took you a while to find what trading style suited your personality best, and that's what Jack Schwager, when I asked him, I said, Jack, what's the most important piece of advice you could give traders? And he said, find a style that suits your personality. So it was a process for you to get there. Did you have any mentors yourself or influenced by any books that kind of lit up a bulb for you to make these breakthroughs that you've made?
Yeah, I had a few mentors. I had, and of course, I love books, and Mark Douglas has to be my all-time favorite author of all time.
Trading in the Zone.
Trading in the Zone, The Disciplined Trader. Those are my kind of my Bible go-to when it comes to trading and the mindset aspect, since that's really key for me. And I think for most traders, it's really key. I think if I had to say anything about it, what really changed me into a day trader, Dale, was the risk. Since I trade my own money and I trade my own portfolio, I found personally I could not sleep at night carrying positions over. I was always mentally somehow distracted to wanting to look at charts. For instance, when I'm done with a session, I don't look at charts. I go on my day and enjoy myself, enjoy life. And for me, that works really well. I was also concerned about brokers in the Forex world. As you know, when they adjusted the Swiss franc, what was it, in 2015, a lot of traders I know in my own group, their accounts were wiped out if they were holding on to positions. And unfortunately got caught in that snafu. So I just found from a risk management perspective, when you're trading your own account, different, you know, if you work for an institution or a private, you know, family, it's different and you're going to trade a whole different way. But trading your own money, it's different.
Yeah. And, you know, it depends on your stage of life. When I was younger and I was on the floor, I wanted to trade all day. You know, as you change and, you know, life evolves, money starts to not become your most important currency. Time, you have more of a perspective that money comes and goes and time is gone forever. You don't want to spend it sitting in front of your workstation 20
Boy,
hours a day.
3 cheers to that.
Okay, so
Yeah.
lifestyle, I mean, look,
Lifestyle too. Yeah, it's
yeah,
definitely a lifestyle change for me.
yeah.
Yeah,
So I'm curious, before we get to the charts,
sure.
I think trading, I don't know if you agree with me, 90% of it is in our heads. It's
I totally agree.
philosophy and psychology. And I'd like to know, what you stress, certain types of philosophies and psychology, which, you already expressed the advantages of day trading.
Hmm.
How do you help people overcome the number one thing I think is fear?
Yep.
And to me, preparation is a great antidote for fear. And, people getting to the point where they go, well, I hope this one works.
Yeah, I agree with you as far as preparation. I am super huge on preparation. In fact, just using again, referring back to Mark Douglas in his book, Disciplined Trader, I believe it is, and there's probably some crossover in Trading in the Zone, but he talks about how you have to get your technical foundation laid down like first. That's like kindergarten for a trader. Getting your technical, how you're going to trade, how would you trade it, how you're going to manage your trade. If I get stopped out, where's a reentry if I want to take one? Has anything changed in my trade plan? So those things I believe are the foundation as far as being prepared. I have a whole checklist of things that I like to do. I call it my trader's checklist to success. And it's all about the preparation. It's getting that good night's sleep. You have to be well rested. I have to be well rested,
Oh,
or
yeah.
I can't do what I normally would do, even
It's
though I
almost like
think
you
I
have to be
might.
an athlete. You have to be
Yes.
in a peak performing state to do this. When you talk about this preparation, is this part of a journaling process that you
Yes.
recommend traders do, and you kind of supply this outline and a checklist before they're clicking their mouse? They have to answer all of these questions about a
Yes.
trade.
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely. It has to meet the criteria. The criteria that I use is extremely simple. In fact, I have a gentleman in my group who was telling me on our webinar yesterday that he's turned his trading around following my trading methodology. And he's also brought in his 20, 21, and 23-year-old daughters, and he's taught them to trade. And he said he was astounded at last month's, their performance was, really good in July. And so he said they can follow it, and he's keeping it just super bare bones, laying down the technical foundation for them. So yeah, I keep it so simple that even I want to say an 8-year-old or a 10-year-old who is adept at their own computers can do this. It's so straightforward. Of
Okay.
course, the mindset, like you said, is 90% of it, and that's where traders get tripped up.
All right. Give
So
me a few examples of how you see traders tripped up by their own psychology.
sure. One thing, they put on too big of a position, and
Okay.
so
Leverage.
yeah, yeah, leverage. It's huge. That will trigger you into so many different mindsets, especially if you have issues around money. And the other thing is, if you have not done any kind of personal work, whether it's, I've done a lot of therapy, so know thyself. You have
Yeah.
to know yourself, because you'll act out these unconscious beliefs on the trading screen that can really mess with you. Like Mark Douglas talks about the boom and bust cycle, which so many traders are in. I used to be in that cycle.
Hmm.
That was my trading style. I would trade really well, and then boom, I would decimate it.
Kim, my psychiatrist diagnosed me as a dyslexic, agnostic, insomniac.
Really?
Because I would stay up all night
Oh,
wondering whether or not there was really a dog.
a dog?
I'm dyslexic.
Oh,
That's part of it. So anyway, it was a
really?
joke.
Okay, I'm like, what? That doesn't sound like. My
Yeah,
therapist would say
yeah.
something like that, but okay.
Anyway, I'm a Gemini, so I'm just
Oh, oh God,
schizophrenic
you
that could
are?
be long or short, whatever.
Oh
I,
God.
flexible anyway. So,
That explains a ton to me right there. I have
okay.
my best friend is a Gemini.
Okay, so,
So you
uh,
can do many things at once
yeah.
and you jump from thing to thing and you've got a great personality. You're able to connect with a lot of people clearly because of what you do. You're really good at it.
Yeah, let's not talk about the downside.
Okay.
All right. But anyway, thank you, Kim, for
Well,
my
I'm a
horoscope.
Capricorn. I'm a Capricorn, so I'm just the complete opposite. I am like
Oh, that means we're
a
compatible.
poster. Yeah, I'm the poster child for organization and structure.
Oh, God. You would you would kill me if you saw my desk.
I
Okay.
probably would.
All
I
right.
know
So
what it looks like already. You've told me enough.
so we have this thing about leverage, and I wrote a
Mhm.
song, use less leverage when you trade the markets, use wider stops so you don't get picked off. If you don't use less leverage, you might lose your head and your account will be dead. So,
Mhm.
the other question is really, don't you run into a lot of people for different reasons, but I mean, let's talk the financial suitability reason. Um, a lot of people are trying, they're trading micros and they're
Mhm.
trading too big,
Mhm.
and they really shouldn't be taking risk at all. Do
Yeah.
as being a registered person, which I was many years ago,
Mhm.
um, I had to tell people, and I did tell people, that this check you're funding the account with, I want you to imagine striking a match and lighting it up. And if that makes you nervous, it's not risk capital.
That's right.
What do you find with people that, do you ever tell people that maybe, until you're, uh, do you tell people it shouldn't be it has to be risk capital, and it's so much easier to make money with money than try to make money undercapitalized?
Absolutely. I agree with that 100%.
You have like a marker for, a minimum that people should be able to, in their mind, mentally write off before they open an account?
Yeah. I mean, I realize there's a lot of people in this space, I want to say, that don't have the money and should not be trading really
Yeah.
realistically, and so I don't encourage it. And in fact, I mean, really, if you want to start to learn how to make money, you have to come in, I believe, with at least 2 grand,
Okay.
and you have to be able to say sayonara to it, because it could go away until you learn the lessons, but you have to trade really small.
Okay.
And I think I've seen you say this out on Twitter a few times. You've been asked, I'd like to trade for a living,
Oh,
and you say something about living under a bridge.
yeah.
And
They say,
that is so, that is
well,
definitely where it's at, because people come and say, well, how much will it take? And I'm like, are you kidding me? How
yeah,
do I even know that you have, one, the mental capacity for this business,
right.
two, the financial wherewithal to withstand shocks and adjustments and loss and so forth? uh, have
Yeah.
you done for step one, which is become, like Mark Douglas says, really technically skilled at
Yeah.
your job? So I say, why put the cart before the horse?
Yeah.
You have to learn, you have to go through the experience. And as you've mentioned too, and I mentioned, that experience takes time.
Yeah. What do you think it is? I mean, let's talk about you.
Hmm.
How many years did you put in of riding the up and down roller coaster and finding your sea legs in the market? Ballpark, what do you think it took you? How long?
I want to say 8 years.
Okay.
I want to say
Right.
from 2001, when I started,
Uh,
really got serious and put money behind myself. Yeah, it was 2001. The thing was, Dale, with me though, I was more of a carry trader, and I, I did the interest and the
right.
capital appreciation on positions,
Okay.
and that just, I got caught in a firestorm. And so I had a whole different way of trading, but I would, like I said, be obsessed with what my positions were doing overnight. And so in 2009, when I had a reckoning, I said, I can't do this. I can't live like this. It's a lifestyle choice now. I'm either going to throw the towel in at this point, or I have to figure out how this would work for me. And that's when I completely shifted how I viewed the markets, and I no longer see them long term. I see them in a session. So I see
Right.
the New York session, and that's it.
Every day is a new day.
Every day is
I
a new
love that.
day.
Yeah, and it should be even if you're a position trader, but every
Yeah.
day is a new day. So since you are a scalper, why don't you tell us
Mm,
about what kind of time frames?
sure.
Are there multiple time frames that you focus on as a scalper?
Nope. We use one time frame, the 15-minute. That's it.
Interesting. Okay.
And I do that for a very particular reason, which is to eliminate some of the overwhelm when traders get into analysis paralysis,
Yeah,
because what looks like something on a 5-minute chart may not look like something on a 30-minute, a half hour,
you're right.
an hour, a 4 hour, and a day. And then you start getting into the weeks and months, and then you're like, whoa, wait a minute. Should this trend line be on the 30-minute or should it be on the 1 hour? Or
Right.
so 15 minutes, that's enough time to think about things, get into your positions, know your technicals, and that's why I chose it.
Okay. And so you have a 15-minute time frame. I see there are no indicators. So
There's no indicators.
all I see is some boxes and some dotted lines that I think what they do signify the prior day's range.
Yes, that's exactly what those blue lines are. The prior
What
day's high or low.
and what are
Yeah.
the gray boxes?
So the gray box is just my, from this point forward, is what I want to look at. And my London session traders look at, which is the beginning of the Tokyo session. So
Okay.
I have 3 questions that help me plan my trades. And the first one is, what did price do overnight? So if I'm a London session trader, I want to know from this point, the start of the London session, what did price do? And if you just, and this is how I do it, you draw it out so people get a visual, because
Yeah.
there's visual learners, there's audio learners.
Yeah.
Visual, I'm very visual. I'm all about the look of things. So this shows the London session trader, hey, I've got a range. I can look for breakouts. Now I can look for a break here, which price euro did. It broke to the upside, and give them a trade there.
Okay.
And then price comes back into the range. It didn't do one of our technical things that we like price to do. It only moved up 12 pips, came back in. So then there's an opportunity to sell it if it breaks the low. And now you can see price is back in the range. So as a New York session trader, I walk up to this right now and I go, wow, this is just ranging. There's no move like this, no nice move with setting up for pullbacks. You know how we get right before the New York session begins?
Yeah.
To get positioned into this trade. There's none of that going on in the euro right now.
Okay.
So it's ranging. So there's no trading opportunities.
Okay. Yeah, I agree. I mean, uh, how do you teach people that it's okay to wait, it's okay to miss trades, and to be patient? It's
Well,
hard to teach, isn't it?
that's hard to teach, because some traders want to jump in as soon as they see price, like probably whipping up like this. What do you mean I can't trade this?
Yeah.
There's no
How
trade,
about
right?
How about, a lot of people think they have to be portfolio type traders, Kim, and, I use the example that I know guys from the CME when I was a runner on the floor there
Mm-hmm.
that never left one pit. If they were cattle traders, they were cattle traders for their whole career, 30 years, and they did quite well just knowing one market like the back of their hand.
Yeah.
Do you find that people, I know I do, lose focus if I have a wandering eye into different markets and don't stay focused on what brought me to the dance?
Yeah, I agree. That's like, distraction and shiny object
Do you
syndrome.
recommend people follow how many markets at a time when they're starting off?
Well, when you say markets, in this case, I would call them currency pairs, and
Yeah,
we use
okay,
10, the 10 that are listed here, and that's all
okay,
we do. Now, I have traders that will wander off the ranch, so to say,
yeah,
and what happens is they get themselves into trouble. 10 is so, I mean, if me
That's a
at my
lot for
level,
me. Yeah.
yeah, that's a lot to look at, right?
Yeah. Uh,
Um, you can do it with just 10.
yeah.
So
When
you
you
don't
find
need to do
yourself jumping around between those 10, um, I notice that when I'm doing a lot of screening,
that.
looking for things, that normally it's because there's not really, when I come back down to it, it's because there's nothing to do, because the good trades smack you right in the face. You can't ignore them. So when I'm looking around at a lot of different things, you know, that voice in your head, I have to find a trade. I want to find a trade. And if you're really searching hard for a trade, it means there's either you're not seeing it or there's nothing to do.
Yeah, I agree. And that's probably one of the hardest things for traders I know. It was hard for me initially, way back in the day, was to just sit with, hey, there's not an opportunity. Like there's nothing to do on the euro. And like I said, this move right here would produce anxiety in a lot of traders because they would think they were missing the move and they would fall into that FOMO, you know, the fear of missing out. Whereas I just go, "Hey, there's nothing here. I don't want to risk any money." I think for me, and I know some other people are like this, if you've taken some big hits and you've
Yeah.
survived, you're a little more tame. You're, you know,
Yeah.
what Mark Douglas says, which is you become rigid in your rules and you're flexible in your expectations. And I kind of live by that. It's like I find that I can look myself in the mirror at the end of a session and say, you know what? I followed my rules. And yeah, I like yesterday, I had a losing day. I have had two losing days actually this week. So for me, I can look at myself in the mirror, go to sleep at night and say, you know what? I did the best job I could. I followed my rules. The market did what the market did, and that's the outcome. It is what it is.
Okay. Do you have using a 15-minute chart, like an average risk per trade and an
Yeah.
average what you're looking for to take the risk?
Yeah, so I'm looking for, well, my pip loss is very tight. So the euro is the tightest one, and that's an 8 pip, and the highest is going to be the crosses, the pound yen, the cad yen, et cetera, will be 12 pips. Those are, so it goes between 8 and 12, and the other ones fall into the 10 pip range. I'm looking to take a minimum of 1.5 to
Okay.
1. So
Okay.
yeah, you've got to get at least 1.5 to 1 in your positions.
Okay.
Otherwise, if you take a bunch of losses, you might not be able to recover as quickly.
How did you choose that particular number for a stop on the euro? Was there back testing involved, or how did you come to decide on that's our risk in euro?
I did do some initial back testing on it, but I remember I used to trade, because I was more of a carry trader, I trade with these wide stops, or a position trader. And I traded with wide stops, and I personally, I couldn't take the swings mentally
Hmm.
of watching positions move around that much. So I decided, you know what? I want to do what Paul Tudor Jones kind of advocates, even though on a scalping level more, which was put your toe in the market, and if the position is going to run, you'll be in it. And if it's not, you're going to be told quickly. But I also followed that up with, I have certain re-entry rules. So even if you get stopped out, let's just say the broker spikes you,
Hmm.
there's rules that I have that traders can follow to get back into that move if it does turn around and goes their way. And they learn those reentry rules as well.
Okay, well, that's a great segue for people that would like to learn about your reentry rules and everything else you have to offer, Kim. If you want to go to your website, we all know that people could follow you on Twitter at Price Action Kim, and maybe you could show what's happening on your website and how people could get
Well,
involved with you.
sure. I'm trying to think. Let me see if I can call it up. Hang on. Just give me one
Okay,
second.
sure.
Let's see. I should have had this ready.
That's okay.
Here we go. Whoops. All right. Do you see that?
You'll probably have to unshare and then share again.
Okay. Oh, okay. I see it now. All right. There we go. Now do you see it?
You started the screen share. There we go. Okay.
So you should see Price Action Traders
Right.
Institute up here.
Got it.
So we have I have two things: the Forex Trading monthly membership, which is a more hands-on involved. You do the planning sessions with me 3 mornings a week, Tuesday through Thursday, and Kevin Wednesday and Thursday mornings. And then last year, this year actually, I just released it in April, was an online course for traders who want to do their own study. Takes beginner traders through advanced traders through my entire process and learning, and they can do that on their own. So,
okay.
And then they can also go, if you scroll down here or you go to YouTube, I have YouTube videos that I also post on my blog. So
Okay.
you can watch a lot of free stuff out on YouTube that I've posted as well.
Okay, well, you have a great demeanor, Kim. I could tell how disciplined you are. You're very fortunate that that was inherent in your personality. A lot of people have to create a new paradigm to do that. So
Yeah, they do.
I appreciate your time and hoping that your efforts, that pips rain down on you and everyone your voice reaches and your teachings help. And proud to call you my trading warrior sister, Kim. And I respect you and really think that, you're one of the few that are out there telling it like it is to people, giving it to them straight. And, you could be a great trader, but I like people that have great ethics, and you qualify. So
Thank you, Dale. I
very
appreciate
welcome.
everything that you do for all the traders out there because I know you give them a lot of wisdom and you really care about them and it shows through. And so thank you again for inviting me. And I'm enjoyed talking to all of your people.
All right.
Thanks,
Well, everyone,
everyone.
that's a wrap, everyone. You're welcome, DJ. DJ's thanking you, Kim. A
All
lot of
right.
people thanking you, and
Thank you.
videos should be out in a few hours. So that's a wrap for us. See
Thank you.
everyone. See everyone tomorrow. See you, Kim, for TGIF. Good hunting the rest of the day. Remember, don't just count your pips, count your blessings. See everyone tomorrow. Adios.